Welcome back. Gladiators take on the Defiant as our final 12. The round of 12 is what I'm trying to think of. The round of 12. My brain is scrambled. Gladiators versus Defiant in their final match of the round of 12. This is an elimination match as well. The winner here will go on to the quarterfinals, where, well, their opponents will end up picking who they actually want to play against, the people that are already seeded into the quarters. So, yeah, it's all on the line. Gladiators, they've been looking up recently, Hex. Toronto Defiant, little bit all over the place. But let's have a look at Gladiators first, however. We're not seeing Mira back in on the tank role. It's going to be Space back in. No surprises there, as we've shifted more towards the double shield again. We got OG and Space in the tank role, Birdring and Mira, and then classic Big Coos and Shaz to round it out support.
Yeah, so it kind of says that maybe they don't want to really just only run Zarya. Of course, Space is an MVP possible candidate. He can run Zarya if you want to enable OG's Winston if they choose to run it. And OG has some pretty solid stats on Winston here this season, Jack.
Yeah, he's been looking pretty good. We spoke a little bit about it before we took a break, but they want to pick maps where OG can run Winston, I can imagine. See a lot of his stats there, looking pretty high. Hero damage as well is pretty ridiculous, ranked second currently. Final blows up there in third place, and the rest of them kind of mix of third and fourth and fifth. So yeah, his Winston definitely one of his favorite heroes, plus it being a hero that he excels on as well. So, you know, surprise, surprise, your favorite hero is one of the ones that you do exceptionally well with. With his Reinhardt too, has also been very good. So I'm curious if we're going to see a little bit of OG Rhyme. Some of the maps I do think we may see it, but I think Sigma Orisa is just still too strong. The carry on at the Defiant though, agilities with his Genji. Still second place in hero damage, only to Sparkle, I believe, who's first currently. His Genji's been looking pretty good, and it's been nice to see a lot of players on heroes that they were famous for, like way back when. Agility's back on the Genji is always a nice sight to see. Him and Logic's going to be in the DPS lineup for the Defiant, so a bit of hit scan there and a bit of projectile god-like play as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about Toronto, and I mean, you said they're all over the place, but they're beating all the other mid-tier teams. They're making a case to be the best of the rest. They're beating teams like Atlanta, Valiant, Vancouver, Washington. So they're beating them. They're only losing to the top 4 teams in the league. The rest of the starters are going to be Logics and Agilities. Of course, we have not seen Shore4 come in for that Sombra in quite some time. The old standbys on tanks, some veterans of Overwatch, been playing for nearly 5 years now in Numlocked and Nevix. Cruz will be on the support, and then Roki is going to be playing support as well. Mostly been playing the Baptiste, and I think some of it is just stylistically, whereas like Kariv is a playmaker. He's always looking for that damage, always looking for eliminations, whereas Roki's more of a little bit more passive, kind of just, well, I guess the easiest way to put it is Roki clicks right-click more and Kariv clicks left-click more, and that's the difference in their Baptiste play, so he's going to be back in the lineup. But Toronto has really taken advantage of the meta. When you've got an all-star Genji, the last month or so has been really kind to you.
Well, Lijiang Tower is going to be the map we start on again, so let's jump over. Very aesthetically pleasing map, as well as the music. Of course, Overwatch did have that music event a couple of weeks ago with that cool Sigma skin. Do enjoy some of the Overwatch music, it's very clean.
I forgot to play enough on my main account to get the Sigma skin. I'm kind of bummed. I always forget to get good skins. I know. Luckily, I just run the Overwatch League app and the website, and I just have Overwatch League skins. You know, double tokens.
Double tokens this weekend. Overwatchleague.com. Make sure you're on there to get some nice little tokens, so you can buy some of your favorite team skins.
Got Junks coming out here.
No.
Yeah.
This is Agility's messing around. Nope. I refuse to believe. Agility's, please play Genji. I like your Genji. Although Junk is kind of funny to watch too, but I do prefer Agilities on the Genji myself. But yeah, maybe it is. We're seeing Shaz and Big Goose going to be speed boosting out, or maybe Big Goose stays. Would be surprised. Cruz as well. Obviously, there's a lot of environmentals, so we are seeing the Junkrats okay with the Sims. So mirror comps all around, and that's a whole lot of damage to start off with. My word. Whoops daisy, I think Defiant. In fact, Nevix just eating majority of those projectiles coming in. Speaking of projectiles, didn't eat too many of them there. There's a lot of them from Mira. Just direct missile launched at Cruz there. And an instant team kill. Thank you for giving me motion sickness there, Mira. Very cool. That'll be a quick cap. That was chaos.
Generally in control, no matter what the composition is, if you win the first fight, you have like a 60 to 70% chance to win the entire round. especially with this composition. Like, it's such a space control composition.
Oh, they don't know. Oh, they do know. Oh, and Big Goose gets destroyed by Logix. That was a sick anti-boop there from Cruz. Turret's going to have to get dealt with. Yes, they do. Logix is going to set up his, but they're going to get destroyed rather fast. They've got 5 HP, so they're going to die to almost any damage. There comes the tire into the backline. Bye-bye Agilities, bye-bye Logix. They even used the wall as well. I don't know about that one. Feels like you could definitely could have saved that knowing that 2 people were dead, but just ending the team fight rather fast. Maybe that's just what they wanted to do. God,
all right, it's time. It's time for our first quiz of the day. This one should be easy. How many kills do you think Toronto has so far?
None.
1.
Damn it.
Yeah,
close.
you were close. Let's see, who's the shameful one? It's Big Goose. Big Goose is one of them. Oh yeah, they were trying to set up that boob.
Oh yeah, they were trying to set up the boob. Dude, my memory. Dear Lord, I need some more Omega 3.
You have a memory similar to your fish tank, I assume.
Oh, dude, that's a good flux. Taking out OG is going to be fairly good. Logix just wants to sit on the point here. Just get Birdering off of the point, basically. He's going to get chewed down by these turrets, though, and loses the 1v1 because he missed the 2 turrets. Birdering kills not only Cruz, but Logix. 75% now for the Gladiators. The Defiant really haven't had a decent fight. There's not been that many picks at all. They got a lot of ults, though. So, you know, coming back into this next fight, you'd think they'd have an edge.
Yeah, Agility's just now nearing his first tire. Toronto has the ultimate advantage in every single case because they've died way too quick. They haven't been able to use anything. So Wall and Tire need to get some value here, and then Tank Ultimate's coming up. On paper, this is a fight that Toronto should be favored in.
I can see. What is that turret killing? Oh, it killed the trap. Oh, yeah. Well, there's the flux, but the wall's going to come out, stopping a lot of that damage actually landing on the fluxed targets. Both walls have been launched in. Agility's with the tires, going to make sure Gladiators back all far away from that one. Immortality Field was used as well, so at least Agility's baited that out, and they managed to secure the cap also. OG comes back on the Wrecking Ball to try and stall for some time, but Logic's picking up a couple of kills onto the DPS. Does mean Gladiators aren't going to win this fight.
Yeah, they should be getting out. Like, they're at 99. There's no reason to even really be messing around and try to get back in there.
1 tire kill or 2 tire kills, and you're done. Well, that's Gladiators right now.
That's why I was surprised that OG had gone over to the Hammond as though they were going to try to come back in and contest. You're already doing it really well, and right now, Los Angeles has the tire ready to go. These Symmetras, though, are putting on so much work.
Oh, it got destroyed. Okay, it's still good. Tire. Oh, he's wiggling it. He's wiggling it. It's 31 HP. Oh, he has to go for someone now. Oh, he gets killed by Cruz's poop. The beat's going to come through as well, and he just manages to stay onto the platform. Oh, that was so close. And now he's going to try and trade Baptiste as Big Goose manages to find Roki with a boop into the pond. Mira comes up big, launching those bombs far and wide. Birdering also coming up with a couple of kills of his own. Gladiators putting themselves on the point, using all that space that Mira actually obtained using the tire. And now Defiant are going to have to get back onto the point. Nevix has changed over to the ball, but it's so punishing when you're against Symmetra. She's going to have the wall aligned soon as well. Mira needs healing, but the rest of his team are just cleaning on up. He doesn't need all too much. The traps also are just a nightmare to actually get rid of as well. 1 trap and you're basically dead. That's going to be it. The Gladiators are going to hold on to the points. 99% over to 100 against 57. And they take Night Gardens rather easily, I must say. I mean, that was really one big fight swing. Defiant managed to hold on for it for 57%, and then Gladiators already had 99, so they just needed the flip and the 1 fight win. And I do think initially it really was the zoning tire, although it wasn't attempting to be zoning. Obviously it wanted to kill people, but Cruz killed it. But it's forced Toronto all the way back, and then Big Goose comes out with like a massive, oh my goodness, like a Predator missile. It hit the Mira from the skies. Okay. And Big Goose managed to get the boop on Roki as well, so there's so little healing was available from the Defiant at the ending of the fight.
Well, it's just the damage difference, really. I mean, Mir did 2,000 more damage than Agilities, topping out at just under 5,000. Birdering kept pace on Symmetra. He had 4,600 damage on Sim. Junkrat had 47.
Sometimes I do really think we're playing COD. Just with Junkrat and his tires. It's so, oh my word, that is... So that was a lot of damage. And Deputy's dead. Goodbye. Birdring just stood there because he knew Cruz didn't have boots. So, yeah, like I said, it does feel like I'm playing COD sometimes, watching the Junkrat with the explosives, just seeing the nade spam from COD, and it's just Junkrat pressing left click and the missiles and the kill streaks with the tire. Like it looks so funny with Junkrat, to be honest.
It's not spam, it's tactical area denial.
Yeah, exactly.
Tad bit of spam.
I still teleport here from Birdring. There's not really going to find all too much. Get teleported forward, but you can throw the turrets in there to harass the backline a little bit. So they get destroyed fairly fast. Nice little hold for the Gladiators now. Now they can fortify their castle, although not for long. The Bombardiers are going to be able to find OG. Agility does end up falling though, so all Nevix needs to do now is ideally just stay alive. His backline is just getting destroyed. It felt a little bit lost there. The Toronto Defiant felt lost, because I'm going to be real with in that engagement. Birdring and Mirror are finding these picks onto the backline where you really wouldn't think they would be able to, especially on a map like this where it's rather enclosed and you have double shield, but Birdring and Mirror are making it work just as easy as that, really.
They're absolutely dominating. 13 final blows for Birdring, 10 for Mir. Their counterparts in Logics and Agilities, 4 and 3 apiece. It is a DPS difference right now.
Oh no. Oh, they spotted. It's cool. Oh, through the window and a trap through the other side as well.
He's actually got these mechanics done really well with the mines.
Mirror's making it look fun. Oh, there's the little grenade hit that he was looking for. That's a massive flux. They're going to get saved by the... Oh, no, they're not. I was going to say, Immortality Field's going to save him, but Mirror, again, on the flank. No one can contest him at all. And look, Cruz is like, okay, I'll pay attention to him and kill him. But when that actually happens, the Gladiators just hold W and steamroll over the Defiant.
Well, Gladiators are going to have Tire, they're going to have Wall, they're going to have the Supercharger as well, and if all else fails, they will have the Beat coming up. Toronto now just coming online to ultimates of their own. This one's all about execution as Toronto has a few more ults, but the Tire can just end it all.
Do they know where the Tire? I don't
really
think they know where this Tire is. It's really far away, but they use Beat, so there's Overshield will end up going down. Tire into the front line. Numlocked and Roki are dead. They're on the wrong side of the wall because they didn't have a clue where that was, and the Overshield was disappearing, Hex. It was so easy for Mirror to set that one up, and then Birdring kills 2 as well because they were so distracted and Roki had died. That was a steamroll by the
Agilities
LA
doesn't
Gladiators.
get a Tire off.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, control can be a little bit variable, but this one was just all about Mir and even Birdring just going absolutely nuts on their respective picks. Shows a little bit of versatility from the Gladiators, whereas the Toronto Defiant, like Logics and Agility, just didn't get much done. They just didn't get the same value, and obviously when you're losing fights, the numbers are going to get skewed in one way or the other, but Mir just looked like the better Junkrat there. I think as we go forward, you're not going to see any more of that. Obviously, it's a composition unique to control maps, but Toronto has to go back to their identity of Logics on any hit scan that he feels like playing, and Agilities has to be running the Genji. It is what got them this far, and yeah, it's just an outlier that the control maps are really favoring symmetric compositions lately.
It was all about the flank rat at the end of the day. Mirror just finding so much value, not only with Tires, just the concussion mine kills as well. Just ridiculous. Right, it's Defiant's turn to choose a map. We'll be right back after this small break so we can see what it is.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back. Defiant's map choice now, and it looks like we're going to King's Row. And, okay, where do I start? We've got
It's a lot of housekeeping to be
substitutions and a role swap as well. Gladiators, Kevster is coming in for Mira.
Yep.
Mira is going to support. So Big Goose is stepping away. So Mira now has played not only DPS, tank, he's now jumping onto support role as well. Big Goose out, Mira down to support, and Kevster in on the DPS. So while I'm rather shocked, I'm also not shocked in the sense that Mira is an extremely talented player, like just mechanically gifted. So seeing him on support role, it doesn't surprise me that much. He's going to be able to pick up pretty whatever his team needs ideally. But it is pretty ridiculous now that we're seeing Gladiators like week on week change where Mira plays. DPS and tank and now support. And we do have Kariv in as well instead of Cruz being in now too. So King's Row, yeah, it's going to be a wild one. You guys you need to grab a drink, a snack, whatever you need. Come back, you can sit down and watch it.
Yeah, Mira's the new rascal, apparently. Just playing absolutely every role. Yeah, it's curious. I wonder what he's going to play. You said he's mechanically gifted, so that means that maybe he will play the Baptiste for this team. Straight up, Big Goose didn't have a good game last week. He got cut out alone a lot of the time. Some of that just seemed to be their game plan of where they were setting up. The Gladiators did a couple really weird setups where they were isolating squads of people. Then Big Goose obviously looks bad because he's alone, because the rest of his team gets killed. So maybe just making an adjustment here. The Gladiators are a team known for making strange adjustments, out of the box thinking. That's kind of where their coach's mindset is at. So we'll see if this one ends up working out. If you're a Defiant fan and you just saw the control and you're feeling really bad, don't worry, because throughout the rest of the map sets, Toronto actually has a better win rate on every single map type, better than the Los Angeles Gladiators. So control, a little bit of an outlier, obviously didn't play to the Toronto Defiant strengths, and we'll see. I mean, we're just waiting to see what Mir picks here. And, of course,
no.
Why not? A lot of things happened. Maybe they have to switch chairs and stuff. Who knows? There was a lot of movement going on from the Gladiators team.
No. Well.
Hey, it couldn't be a... Hey, well, no, this helps people out. Did we... Well, no, we had a pause earlier, so that's already on the bingo card.
That is true. Okay, apparently there was a UI bug, so we're going back to lobby, and we're going to jump back in.
Oh, well, that's easy enough fix then. Yeah, no worries.
We always get pauses. I think it's us. I think Wolf and Seth were definitely the pause kings. I think the mantle should be passed over to us at this point. We had that... we had the Gladiators pause too as well.
That's right.
The Gladiators pause. It was like half an hour or something absurd.
Well, didn't we also have the Cruise pause as well?
Oh, the Cruise pause. Oh, yeah. It was a thunderstorm or something.
Yeah.
That knocked out his power. Yeah. I don't know, man. We always get the long pauses. But we are going back into the game. That's right. Don't worry.
That's one stroke. That's fine.
Yeah.
Just a hiccup. So now, it was just to build anticipation to what is Mir going to play. I don't know. I'm just going to wait. I'm honestly just going to wait. So obviously this was the Toronto map pick, so maybe they want to be running a double shield setup, which I think speaks to the strengths of Nevix and Numlocked.
Yeah, Mira did play Zarya in Goats. Just as a kind of like indication of what role he did play, because obviously DPS went to both Brig and Zarya. It looks like he's going to be playing the Brig for the time being.
Okay.
He still has a lot of experience in kind of in that kind of meta with Brig, so
totally fine. And also, but also, I mean, it also lets you bring in some of your best players, too, because Kevster has been absolutely lights out for this Gladiators team.
Oh, he's been crazy,
Yeah, and straight up, like, Big Goose has struggled on the Brigida, and the Brig Goose has not been good the last couple of weeks. There's no other way to say it. Again, it's really hard to blame a single player. Maybe it's strategy-wise, but, I think if you watch the last Gladiators set, you would tend to agree with that. So making some changes here early on. See what Los Angeles actually runs out here with. I don't know if Kevster's going to stay on this Widow. Sometimes you just take a shot at it, but Kevster's Genji. Birdring goes back to Widow. All right. Birdring's Widow is actually really good. I just haven't seen a ton of it.
Your turn to take a shot. Kevster, you go. And now it's my turn. And now Birdring switches to the Ashe. I remember a ridiculous shot actually by KSP, I believe it was in World Cup of Contenders, where the Moira peeked over the shield, and KSP hit the shot and they won first point just off of that headshot. So it's not, obviously just in general, it's not uncommon to see the Widow starting out. Bit of a different setup here for the Gladiators in terms of where their DPSs are hiding. You see Kevster dueling out there with the Logics, but Birdring's all the way back on the bus. And the tanks have taken a split route as well, where Shaz and OG are on the low ground, space on high.
The Gladiators have tried this style on defense and offense of splitting people up and trying to really isolate specific targets against a team, and now they all come together.
Yeah, now they will come together from the window. Oh, Kevster goes down though. Although, look how much space that they were granted because of that window. They're actually going to get 2 ticks here if they're not careful. No, they're going to get 2. Okay, Defiant needs to make a move at this point. Nevix is on fire, but also caught in no man's land almost. His DPS are going to clean up the mess, though. Shaz and OG Mirror end up falling. Agility's on the point with a blade. Definitely doesn't want to use it, but they can still anchor around Numlocked. However, Kevs is going to pay a little visit to Logics. Now, forcing of the blade from Agility's here to make sure that they can actually win this fight. He really didn't want to pull it, but he was almost forced to in that situation because the healers were dead. And now Gladiators have spawn advantage, so they're going to be able to walk. And because they got 2 ticks, Hex, I don't think Gladiators is going to be able to get back. Kevster has the blade. Maybe he goes in with it. And in fact, he's going to have to try and secure it. Agility does end up falling down. Immortality Field's already out. And Evix goes down. Numlock's going to follow as well. And that'll be point number 1. Taken by Gladiators. That was just a ring around the rosy. They kind of played Toronto like a fiddle there.
Hello.
Yeah, it was really nice. They pretty much ran 3 different squads. They had 2 up top. I think it was the Sigma and Brig rotating around. The DPS were playing Hotel. And then they had the Orisa and the Baptiste on the ground. So everybody has the healing that they need. And the DPS are able to play within the Baptiste sightline to keep that healing up too. So they really made Toronto have to play 3 different angles, and Toronto was unable to do it. Los Angeles rolls through some pretty good pacing, and they're going to be able to kind of burn through streets pretty quick, with only 1x on the card. So if Toronto gets this fight, they can pull forward.
Nice little coach gun there from Logic. There is the Flux, the return Flux even. The Immortality Field's going to be there. That Bob is doing a fair bit of damage though to those shields, so they're going to have to scurry for cover and wait for them to recharge. I like the use of the Transcendence as well by Karev. He used it at the very end. He saw a couple of people going low, but he used it just at a point where... Oh, Logix is dead. Oh, okay. Well, I'll stop my conversation. I'll talk about that in a minute. Window and Supercharger being used. OG ends up going down. Kevster on the side. If they can manage to get the kill here onto Agility, this is going to be extremely good. And now in the back line, there's nothing really to stop them from killing Karev, and then Birdring just sends in his Bob. Gladiators again just taking this approach where they just send people off on small little flanks, but sending them as groups. Like they're going 2 for 4 or 3 for 3 Hex, and then they manage to win the fight because their DPS just get overwhelmed. The Toronto's DPS get overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's actually really nice what Los Angeles is doing, where they end up getting the 1 pick, but then everyone's got like a decent amount of mobility from the DPS, so like the Genji's like, okay, I got this kill over here, oh, you guys need help over here, and eventually they just always have the better numbers.
Window to stop the aggression. Agility does have blade too. It's a pretty good blade spot, to be fair. There are a lot of ways that you can hide away, but if he gets 1 pick, like his resets are going to be too great. They're going to back off for the time being. High ground is currently in control. Ooh, Kevster! Oh, he's dead. Oh, Nevix managed to get the last touch there with the orbs, and Kevster dies. So now it's going to be a reset for the Gladiators. Toronto Defiant are going to try and kill off as many people as they can on the retreat.
Well, Los Angeles still being able to set up for their blade incoming here. Agilities also has his own blade. Flux is online for both teams as well. Big difference might end up being Rally versus Transcendence. Rally, of course, a little bit more of an aggressive ultimate. Transcendence used defensively in most of these situations. See if Kevster has the magic. Agilities has been ultra consistent, but Kevster was like hitting #1 rankings in most of these Genji stats throughout the year.
Just look Defiant, don't really want to go aggressive here until Karev has his Transcendence, which now he has just gotten online. They want to back off from the window as well, so kind of baited in that. There's the Flux, the Transcendence instantly hits. No one instantly going down just yet, plus they still have that Immortality Field to use as well. Roki's holding on to that. Mirror does end up falling over, which means now Gladiators are on the back foot. The Bob was also going to get thrown in to try and secure the fight. Kevster on the side, doing a lot of damage, and now Immortality Field is going to get used, so Toronto Defiant can now walk forward. Space falls, Logic as well, and Karev actually falls off the map. I don't know what booped him there, but that is bad. Birdring and Kevster clean up the rest, and Gladiators, they lost Mirror to start off the engagement, but they still managed to pull it back. Agility's coming out with the Blade Hex as well as that window from Roki, but can they do anything? Logix gets killed instantly by Shaz, and they managed to capture the point. 2 minutes and 21 seconds in the time bank.
Yeah, they were really banking on the fact that Logix was going to be able to at least recall and stay alive during that fight, but a really nice combo there from Shaz to take him down immediately. The Gladiators in that final fight were super patient because Toronto threw everything that they had in. They were just throwing in ultimates, and then Los Angeles, they kept 2 people alive in the corridor just behind the cart, waited for respawns to come up, and then when everything else started dissipating, we're able to throw it back in. Mir comes back in with Rally, the Blade comes in, and that's an easy closeout for the Los Angeles Gladiators. And 2:20 left on their clock as they finish out King's Row. Yeah, it's. I mean, there was a somewhat unremarkable map. The numbers are kind of low. It's only 20 final blows to 10. But yeah, Kevster's blades. I mean, I just never take Kevster out in a Genji meta. I mean, what a grand entrance he has had into the Overwatch League. He's already talked about as one of the best damage dealers in the league.
And even when he was out of the league, people were saying, it's like, where is he? Why is he doing the league? Why is he there? No. But it only took a matter of time before he found the right team. The Gladiators are just that, and I'm glad to see him. Now Defiant on the offense. I love the Kariv picking up the Zen, not because I love Zen, but being able to use the Transcendence to stop anybody instantly falling to the Flux is super good in 2 different ways, because the Transcendence will last a lot longer than the Immortality Field. Plus, then Roki can rely on the Immortality Field to save people as well. It's kind of a 2-pronged thing. The only problem is you don't get the Brig, which is normally a deal breaker because the Brig just offers up so much damage in the front line, plus the healing and the sustain for everybody. It's a little less HPS on the side of Toronto Defiant, but that's just Zen in a nutshell. 30 HPS on the Orb's not great. 300, however, obviously for the Transcendence. So it's got strengths and weaknesses, but Toronto Defiant clearly happy to run Karim. Definitely one of the best support players on their lineup, players for sure.
Look, the Gladiators are all over the place again. Their defenses are usually so split.
I like it.
I mean, look at this. It's a horseshoe. They're completely... they're everywhere around the point. Both high grounds are taken.
Like, just descend on them when they do end up going onto the point. Gotta be careful, though. Agility has to be extremely careful. Whoa! That was aggressive dash. He has to be rather careful. However, OG does end up going down. No one's going to trade, and now it's just about trying to kill off the support. Mirror falls, but Bird Ring high in the sky. Yeah, surprise, surprise. He's made a little nest up there. Ooh, that was a disgusting shot through the tree there. Yeah, that was gross. I love the horseshoe technique, Hex, because as soon as the Defiant try and make a play, they have to also then deal with Bird Ring, Kevster, who's also on the flank. Like, there's so many different avenues in which the Toronto Defiant's backline can get jumped on. And because they're running Zen, there's not as much defensive power either.
Yeah, they tried something similar on Havana last week, and it absolutely didn't work, but the concept is to let the enemy team in so that you are surrounding them on all angles. You're really just making them walk into a shooting gallery, really.
A shooting gallery. There's a window. Oh, and Third Ring's on it as well. However, the play's going to be good. Agility's managed to find one. The Reflector to the Coach Gun kill doesn't find the damage he wanted, but still manages to make sure Bird Ring can't do as much. Agility's now trying to take out Mirror in the small corridor, but yeah, shield bash, and Mirror should die, but he does rally out of there. The Raid Boss is active, and Bird Ring's on the high ground as well. Someone please stop him. The Bob's on the point also to distract the Toronto Defiant for long enough. However, Toronto Defiant with ult should be able to hold on to this point. It's going to be up to the Gladiators now to try and make something happen. Supercharge has gone down as well, and it looks like the Gladiators are happy just to give this one up and fight as 6 close up to this archway.
Yeah, I think that they wanted to come in, and then if they would have been able to just do like a basic stall and sustain composition, then Space would have been able to get to his Flux and then maybe you go in. But with the Supercharger coming down, all of that seems so unlikely that you don't even bother with it. Bird Ring knows where Logix wants to be, because that's where he wants to be.
Oh,
I'm leaving.
A shoulder shot.
Who took that pack? That's Bird Ring's pack.
I will keep it. Oops, a daisy. Oops, oops, a daisy. Mirror dies to the flanking Genji. However, Agility's a favourite of his life, and instant Flux here from Space. Again, just turning the tide to make sure the pressure is Mirror Wrench in their favour. He's going to receive a lot of overshield for that, but it almost instantly disappears. The Immortality heal was used by Roki to push through his tanks forwards. And even the Flux to kill off Bird Ring. Space is going to fall as well, and that will be the defense of the Gladiators on the archway. 14 3 minutes on the time bank, however, and Gladiators can still contest this. They can even use the supercharger here for a little bit of space so they can gain a little bit of momentum on this payload.
Yeah, both windows are up too, and windows are generally just going to be space creators. Not a lot of times where you see windows actually get used to the effect because it's such a powerful ability that teams just don't fight into it. There's just no reason to, unless you have your own window, and even then, both teams you'll usually see just back off. The amplification matrix does just that, and there's no reason to, if you see one, just don't be seeing it. Hide, run away.
Oh yeah, but they actually used the window to counteract the supercharger there. And supercharger, you still instantly went down to agility. So yeah, Mirror also ends up falling down. They don't want to fight it, but they're kind of forced to because they need to touch. Iwatati used late for Roki as well. Agility's in the back line. That'll be it. That is the cap of the second point. And now it is all up to the Gladiators to defend. They're going to have to go up against Bob, Blade, Supercharger, and Transcendence for this next fight. So there's a tall order.
I mean, they're losing a lot of the supports early for the Gladiators, and it's somewhat to be expected because you do have Mir playing the Brigitte, but he's got 5 deaths for his team, and some of them have come at very inopportune times. And I mean, killing a healer, the output is just not there, even with Baptiste, especially the way the Gladiators like to play spread out. Baptiste can't just heal a big clump of people, but as I say that, the reverse caster curse as Mir takes down agilities.
Mirror gets revenge. And then you can see Birdring just hovering around the top right there, getting a nice little angle on people, a nice little ang. And with Birdring up here, everybody says that actually, Mr. Can't name his solo queue name, but yeah, the Florida Mayhem GM. Nice little ang. Anyway, there's the Blade, there's the Blongo as well. Oh my god, that's a lot of damage. Oh, that's 4 kills. Birdring at least takes one with him, but I think that's going to be it. Yep, no way you can recover from that one, unfortunately. Kipster dies to Bob. 2 minutes and 19 seconds in the time bank, 19 seconds quicker than the Gladiators.
Yeah, very close time banks here. Let's do it all again. And yeah, I mean, it's both these teams are just trading blows. These fights have not really been decisive. We haven't had a team kill horn. For the most part, teams are kind of sticking around, seeing if they can get a clutch play out of anybody. The Ashes are going toe-to-toe. Birdring with a little bit better of it right now. He's got 5 more final blows than Logic's 12-7 on their ends. And the Genjis are sitting pretty close to each other right now. But Agilities was often thought of as like probably one of the best Genjis in the league, and he has shown flashes of it. But I think it's easier to call him a pioneer of Genji, because right now there's a lot of people coming up that have really started to, I don't want to say overtake, but at least match Agility's level. So it's not the secret weapon that it maybe was for Toronto in the beginning of the Genji meta, as teams have been bringing people up and matching it. I mean, you just look at Kevster right there, and I think you'd be hard-pressed to say that Agilities is a better Genji than Kevster. But let's take a look at this 3K.
There's a supercharger turn round. Oh, everybody was grouped up. A beautiful ult mixed with the Blongo. And then sneak up a blob. So, Gladiators, to be fair, and Defiant. So, another tale where no team can defend, really. It's always quite funny just to see teams speed run attack. TPs,
well,
forwards.
That's been Assault lately. Assaults are going to 5 to 6, you know.
Oh, Birdring. They know. So now you're just going to change. Just a couple of shots. Although I say that, maybe he doesn't change this. No, he's actually going to stay on the Widow.
It's a nice purge.
Okay, I mean, it's definitely not something we usually see. Although now he's changing. Yeah, he's got the headshot. The Ashes. Ash is just so much more value at the end of the day, unless you're like ultra consistent with the headshots, but double shield is extraordinarily difficult. And now he's farther behind, so yeah, Agility's noses can take the 1v1 fairly easily. Birdring needs some sort of miracle shot, and he kills him in spawn! Oh man, he was like an inch away from actually reaching the invincibility zone. Getting healed up, that is bad. 1 minute now for the Gladiators. Birdring on the junk, no, on the Widow, so now they know. Oh, Agility's almost had his face taken off there, but they're going to have to skirt around it for the time being.
Well, the Gladiators were the inventors of the great bamboozle early on, and now they're kind of in a similar situation where they got 5 on the ground and a Widow in the back.
Here's the big flank, though. Birdring. Word, you've got to be careful. They're going to run at Birdring. I mean, you might as well. Just deny him the space completely. Venom mine on the mini health back. Yep, that'll definitely do something. When he gets jumped on, to be fair. There's the window from Shaz. Oh, the bait maybe? No, Nev Excelsior ends up killing OG and Mirror off. That was almost so sick, actually. The flanking window from Shaz. But unfortunately, the rest of his team died instantly because he wasn't actually there to heal them. 18 seconds remains. Gladiators potentially can touch here without a Wrecking Ball, as Orisa is moving up. However, it's going to be a tall order. Blade and the Transcendence coming up for the Defiant.
There's almost no way that the Gladiators are going to be able to pull this off. They have no ultimates of their own, so if Toronto even gets anything out of these...
Space is already dead. Yeah, sent to the skies, Immortality Field to use. At least he's burning time off Agility's Blade here, and he only managed to find one, but that's really all you need. Even the Transcendence was used forward. However, Kevster, of course it's going to be Kevster. Him at Birdring, just running over the point. Toronto Defiant lost a lot of their damage there. Agilities goes into the backline, and Logix ended up dying almost first. And Gladiators keep in this map somehow. Kevster earns himself a Blade also, or keeps themselves in this push. Obviously, the map isn't over yet. He doesn't use the Blade. They have Rally coming up, and the tank ults are rather soon as well.
Oh, and the spawn for Kariv. You might as well be on a different map. He's coming from Route 66.
So far. I don't even know where Route 66 is. Oh yeah, what am I talking about? I was like, I don't know where Route 66 is, but then I just realized it's in America, so yeah, I do actually know where it is.
Yeah, it ends in the Santa Monica Pier. Probably been on Route 66.
Blades, after armor, straight to the back. Oh, he sees the Zen. No, he kicks him as well. Oh, Kevster gets headshot. A kick and a headshot from Kariv takes down the Blade. They use the Flux 2. Space is going to be able to carry this one. There's no Transcendence available. Everybody crashes back down to earth. Agility dies, but somehow they're kept in this fight. Kariv now praying front line. A use of the window's going to be good from Shaz, but can they get any damage done? I don't think they can. Shaz manages to find Numlogs, but Nevix being alive with Roki at his back with the Immortality Field, there's no way you're going to be able to get him off the payload. The Transcendence there also stops them in their tracks halfway to point 2 or point B. And the Gladiators, they at least secure point A, right? That's definitely a good thing you can think about, and they have a win condition right at this very second. They can get at least a couple of fights in if Toronto Defiant roll over this first point. 2 minutes and 19 seconds in their time bank. They do not want to go down here and give Gladiators that match point.
We talked about Kariv being a playmaker, and there's no bigger play you can make than right there. I mean, just to be able to 1v1 a Genji as Zenyatta, I mean, there's no better feeling in the world as Zen when you're taking down Tracers and Genjis. It just feels so good because you are a prime target. You know exactly what they're trying to do is to deal with you early on damage.
Look at this kick.
Does he even get the Discord? Yeah, he gets the Discord. Single shot.
Ooh, that was so clean. Oh, that was so clean.
Kariv just has those moments, man. He's got highlight reels for years. I think the sleep onto the Pharah on Dorado would come to mind as well as far as Kariv's highlight reels, but it's a long highlight reel. The question is, does Toronto make any adjustments knowing that Los Angeles has kind of played this very unorthodox defense of having two people high ground? They're just rotated everywhere. It's really just Narissa alone on the point until the support needs to come in for them. So does Toronto make any adjustments against this?
If he lands a nasty right click.
Well, you see the icon next to his name means he was a role star from last year's. Hasn't been the biggest year for Kariv on a different team, but still our former All-Pro.
Still on the Zen, that's what I like to see. I like to see good Zen gameplay as the Zen connoisseur himself. And I can see Zen 2. Kariv doing a fair bit. I mean, Kev's doing a fair bit of damage. Agility's just resetting in that small health back room. Oh my goodness. I spoke about how many fights that Gladiators are going to have. This is going to be their second one coming up. Nice little headshot there onto Birdring to send him packing. This will be Defiant claiming a first point, but Gladiators going down. I believe Birdring's going to get forward spawn. He is. So they're going to be able to fight as 6 and get to this archway in time as well. So you see that red box of victory. Gladiators just need to defend against that now as they hold this corner.
Well, minute 15 left, and this card moves rather slow, so you'd have to imagine that it's very likely going to come down to a single fight at some circumstance. Shaz has window, but that is it for the Defiant. It is matched on the other side. They really have to be careful of this Blade coming in from Agilities.
Yeah, one pick's already going to do it.
You have to save all your
used
stuns.
fairly early as well. This is really good for agility. It's one tool to stop him from doing anything. That halt has already been used. However, because they're taking a little while to actually re-engage here after all that damage, there's the blade. She gets rocked as well. Immortality Pill's going to save him, but he's still 30 HP, but he's still somehow swinging. Mira ends up going down. The flux coming through from space might be enough, but it's not. He ends up getting taken down by Logix in the midst of it. Shaz at least finds one kill. A blade from Kevster at the back isn't going to find all of anything as Logix was able to hold him off. A Bob is still available too. I mean, this is very much over if they don't touch. A couple of meters are remaining. Kevster doesn't get there in time, and the Toronto Defiant.
No, they bobbed the Bob. Bob got bobbed.
Bob got bobbed. I was just looking at Kevster that entire time. Toronto Defiant tying the series up 1 apiece.
Logix threw in his Bob. And it was going to hit the cart, or Birdring, excuse me, threw in the Bob and it was going to hit the cart. And then Logix counter-bobbed him, so they ran into each other, both got launched into the air, and he was unable to put presence on the cart, because that was close, because then you also had Mir coming back, who was nearing Rally. If that Bob touches, that is huge. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I saw both Bobs facing off at the end, and it's a great counter to that. Like, one of the best things to use Bob for is with these giant, like, charging ultimates. Bobbing a charging Reinhardt feels great. Bobbing the Bob right there probably just saved them that point, or at least saved them the trouble of having to go through a fight, because trust me, the Gladiators were coming back into that. They had ultimates ready to use, so very, very clutch. Bob on Bob, the Bob battle, the bobble comes down to that 1v1 going into the half.
The Bob off. It was just the Bob v Bob at the end of it. We are tied up in this series at 1 apiece. It feels like it's going to go the distance, and I think it will do. Potential map 5 as well on the cards. It's Gladiators' choice of map up next. We're going to jump to a quick break, and Watchpoint is going to break it down a little bit more.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Welcome back to our game break presented by Cheesy Grooves. Zoe Costa and Reinforce here at your service and ready to talk about the game at hand between the LA Gladiators and their opponents, the Toronto Defiant. Currently, it is 1-1 apiece. So, let's discuss. Reinforce, looking at map 1, it really looked like the Gladiators are in charge of the pace of the game. What else stood out to you?
I mean, this was a Lee Jang Tower map. I mean, this was pretty unique. I don't think we've ever seen like two teams stick with this composition that long. Like, it was quite fun to watch, actually. But what I really paid attention to was the fact that the Gladiators, they play this slower Junkrat Symmetra composition, and we usually say that it's not really up their wheelhouse. It's not what they really play their best at. But then they play this very proactive playstyle and they apply it to this Junkrat Symmetra composition, and they end up just making play after play, and it works. We saw Mirror like go on wild flanks as a Junkrat. I mean, Jake would have been proud. Rip tires come in handy, and you get a lot of work done. Birdring's Symmetra turrets was on point, and you see the stats for yourself. Here was Mirror, 27 eliminations as Junkrat, 3 deaths, 4 Riptire kills. I mean, he was just on fire on Junkrat the entire time. Jumping around with the concussion mine, having a blast. It was really fun to watch, actually, because the Gladiators showed that you can make a lot out of a typically slow composition by just being proactive with your ultimates and actually initiating. So really good fun to watch.
I think that's got to be the first time someone's ever said the Symmetra turrets were on point. But
like, no, they were! They actually were! I kid you not! Like, Birdring had it figured out. He took TPs, immediately knew where to put them, and because he got the turrets up like 2 seconds before Logix did, he got more damage in, it slowed down the Toronto Defiant. The Symmetra turrets were actually really good! They were
Birdring, MVP Symmetra player. Alright, so we go on to map 2. And we go away from the Junkrat Symmetra, and we go towards this Ashe Genji style, and we see go into another mirror. I think the major difference that we saw in Kings Row between these two teams and why we saw the Toronto Defiant take it is I feel like the front line of this Los Angeles Gladiators is definitely not on the same page at all times. We also saw Mirror coming in to play the Brigida over Big Goose, which was a very interesting choice, and he didn't look super comfortable on it. Definitely in, as I said, different pages with OG at certain times, and they got caught out because of it. So very interesting way that the Gladiators is trying to sort of put their own spin on this style, but this is definitely a good look for the Toronto Defiant. This is the lineup, and this is the game style that we saw them go so deep in the Summer Showdown, so I'm excited to see them sort of replicating that right now in the Countdown Cup.
So when you're saying that the front line wasn't on the same page as the rest of the team, do you just feel like the front line was too aggressive and that wasn't communicated with the rest of the team?
Yeah, a primary example that I can use right now is on their overtime defense for the Los Angeles Gladiators. Birdring's playing in the far back window while OG is playing aggressive towards the statue. That's a massive disparity in distance where neither of them can really help each other, and we ended up seeing OG get isolated and ultimately killed in a situation that Birdring couldn't help him. So I really think they need to either play aggressive as a team or understand when they need to pull back to play under the suppressive fire of their Ashe.
Absolutely. Now, for our crunch time presented by Cheesy Grooves, we got a lovely play by Karif. Gentlemen, who wants to take it?
I mean, Costa, this is your boy.
My boy,
Karif.
We haven't highlighted him a whole lot. He has been, taken out a little bit for Roki on this Baptiste, but he comes back in on this Kings Row on the Zenyatta, and he comes up clutch in the overtime defense. We actually have Kevster running it down on him on the Genji, but Kriv has seen this way too many times. Oh, that final dink, the sweetest thing you'll ever do as a Zenyatta player. He ends up getting that kill, opening it up for his entire team, and then just look how much damage he puts out in this. Gets the right click onto Birdring directly after that, keeping his team up, putting on damage. He then gets OGE so low right here and just keeps running it down, and this is the value that Kriv provides as an aggressive Zen. He will win you these fights. He actually ultimately gets another Transcendence. He starts this fight at 15%, but ends it with a Transcendence. That's how much work Kriv did in these in these overtime fight, and that is why he is honestly one of my favorite flex supports to watch.
Well, we're heading into our third map now, which is going to be Anubis. Reinforce maybe your thoughts very quickly here at the end before we toss it back to all the action. What do you want to see? We want to see Mirror on support again? Do you want to see Karif in or out? Actually, he's going to be out as I'm just looking over at our sheet. So Keys will be subbing in for him. What does that make you think?
I mean, it would be a bit of a cursed image, but it would be fun to see Mirror back on the Junkrat here on Anubis, because, in the past, not maybe in 2020, but in the past, Junkrat on Point A Anubis, but a staple pillar, bring it out, make Jake happy. I'm down for more Junkrat action.
All right, you heard it here first. Let's see if you get your wish or not as we're heading on to map number 3, Anubis. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. Deep flavor, deep crunch. It's a mind crunch. The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey guys, welcome back. Gladiators and Toronto, one apiece right now after that Kings Row victory from Toronto Defiant. And we are now heading on to Temple of Anubis. A couple of substitutions too. We have Cruz coming back in for Kariv. When I say a couple, I mean singular substitution. I didn't mean a couple. But what's really interesting now, and something I was thinking about during the break, I'm like, okay, why are they not having Kariv in? Kariv is easily one of the best support players on the roster, I think, and his Zen, not too bad at all, not too shabby. But with Cruz coming back, I feel like maybe we're heading towards something like Lucio, potentially, or they just want to save Kariv. I don't really know, to be honest. I'm really curious to see the mentality behind that. Maybe, obviously, with the Cruz break, maybe they think his break is better than Kariv's. Not entirely sure.
Well, I think they prefer Roki's Baptiste over Kariv's Baptiste. It's a more passive,
Sure.
it's a more healing focused Baptiste. So I think that's generally the difference. So Kariv is going to be their Ana and Zen ace. So this is going to be the Los Angeles Gladiators map pick, and there's always some debates of like, do we pick our best map or do we pick the other team's worst map? So looking at the numbers, the Toronto Defiant are 2-7 on Temple of Anubis.
Oof.
I'm not saying that they picked it because Toronto's bad at it, but hey, it's a little bonus at the very least. Los Angeles, I believe, is 2-1 on this map, so it's a fine assault map for them. But 2-7 is a brutal map record, regardless of the team. Though overall, Toronto is a better win rate on assault maps as a whole. But this is not their best one. It'd be pretty easy to say. We'll see what Los Angeles wants to run, and much to your joy, Jaws, we've got a Junkrat on the field on defense.
I'd be happy if
It used to be played a lot here. It used to actually be played a lot here because it's just like, there's not a lot of great places to come in from. Setting traps into the left side in small pack room. And then I wonder if he's going to put the trap where I always put it. Like right around this corner here, and you can almost barely see it. Like a trap and a mine right there.
I think he's going to.
Yeah, because like most of the offenses are rotating through the small room. It almost always happens. Logic's complaining he doesn't get to a one-trick tracer. Dude, I felt that in my soul.
It's very fun. Crew's very fun. Some crews on the brig. Get back. Classic Colt. But yeah, they knew the Junkrat trap was a thing, so I think they destroyed it in the end because Battering has almost no charge. And now the mortars start to rain in. Junkrat grenades doing a fair bit, although you've got to be careful. I mean, if Genji reflects those, that's also a fair bit of ult charge for the Genji too. So be very cautious of that. But
Just really good for shield crack too.
Yeah, there's a lot of archways to kind of bounce things off. Nice little concussion mine being thrown in too. And now it's just inevitability when this tire comes. Battering's only 30%. I'm surprised it's that far down, but there's a big dynamite from Kevster. It might just get bobbed before this fast fight begins.
Well, the fracas continues on the platform, and so much so that the Gladiators have to give up that position. So now they're on the low ground, not exactly where you want to be. See if their damage dealers can get up to the high ground, which is where they want to be. The Junkrat's rotating around stairs now, just going to play low. Nice halt and dynamite.
Rookie now with the winner online, so this is a perfect position for him to really use this. Kev's just getting chased out. He actually used the bob just before he thinks he's going to die, and he does eventually die. 2 agilities, yeah. They usually trade ashes, but with the bob out for the Gladiators, this might still be good. However, agility still just doing a lot of damage on the side. Birdring eventually pays attention to him, looking upwards, and ends up just one-tapping him with the Junkrat grenades, and earns himself a Riptire.
You kind of forget about the damage output Junkrat has. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've died to a lot of Junkrats in the last week or so, just one-tricking Tracer, and I'm like, oh, it's fine. I got the range on him. I'll just dodge these nades, and all of a sudden, one nade, one mine, and you're just like, oh yeah, I'm back into Oblivion.
Dead. Hang on a second.
It's a ton of burst damage, and you know it was a long time ago that he got that second mine, but it really changed the aspect of mobility and just absolute output of burst damage that Junkrat has.
2 minutes have already got. Okay, before
bad.
he even got the tire out, Agilities had already dashed and killed it. Plus Birdering now dying as well. There's the Flux as well as the armor being laid on top, so Nevix is more than safe, and everybody's going to fall over. Kevzo at least finds one, but it's all on Nevix here and Cruz being able to push forward onto this point. And without spam to really worry about, Agility's logics can play pretty freely. They only have to worry about Kevzo, who they knew where he was at that time. That was a really good bit of positioning there from Agility's managing to take out that tire before it did any damage.
Well, now Toronto's in a really good spot, too. They're going to have 3 ultimates by virtue of winning that last team fight. They can go in with this Blade and Supercharger if they can get the positioning. Now, to try to gain that positioning, maybe you try to send Bob right down the pipe, or at least at an angle to try to get him over there onto the point. Yeah, knock off some tanks.
Called it the Bob knock-up. Agilities, who's he found? Not too many people. He got bashed and stunned and then poach gunned. Cruz ends up going down. Bob did a fair bit of work on the bridge there, and Agilities is now just trying to find the rest of the supports. Mirror falling, and he's in the back now, 1v1 in Kevster. Oh, you don't lose this, please. Kevster's no HP for this entire time. Agilities is going to make himself known on the point, killing off Shaz. And Toronto Defiant, in all this kind of chaos, has managed to secure a tick as well. So regardless of OG coming back and clearing Nevix off, that's a good push from the Defiant.
Yeah, you can piecemeal it out and not get a tick by the tick, but the Los Angeles Gladiators have been able to reset their economy at the very least. They're going to have a Bob up and a Flux, so a decent position there for them. Oh, this is so tough to deal with. Get an Ash up there with a shield.
Yeah. Sometimes the angle isn't
annoying.
perfect, but yeah, that Sigma shield is very annoying to deal with if you're a hit scan on the other side, or just any DPS to be fair. Alrighty ho, Gladiators, they've got Bob, they've got Flux, they've got Window, they can use that Bob as well as that Flux rather quickly. Roki and Nevix, they didn't stand a chance. And that is going to be another reset. I like the early fights here from the Gladiators. Of course, you're naturally as a defender going to build a Bolt Charge quicker, so you might as well use it fairly early.
Another tire's going to be up, and the Window, yeah.
I think you save Tire here for the Genji Blade, unless they really think they can navigate around it. I don't think a Tire onto Genji Blade would be a bad thing here.
No, it's not terrible, but if you see an opening, then you can use it to win that fight, and then Miro's going to have Rally for the next Blade. So
or Nevix.
It just really depends if you see that you have a value chance on it. Like if Immortality Field comes down early, like then you use it.
That Tire can also climb the walls too, so Nevix is going to have to be rather safe while using this ult. Kevster and Unlock end up trading. Definitely defender favorites here. Agility's with a lot of reflect damage, but all of that went into the shield. It looks like Defiant are going to want to go yet again. They had 4 minutes, mind you, and 2 minutes of that has now been burnt off. So Birdering saving the Tire. I actually think you go for Nevix at this point. Tire up, pillar, boom, Nevix dead.
Now Mir's going to have Rally for this next Blade too, and Mir is the only player in the Overwatch League since Rollock that has played every single role.
Yeah. Which is kind of crazy, to be honest with you. Like I said, Mir is an exceptionally talented player, like mechanically gifted, so not too much of a surprise to see him play all 3 roles. Birdering coming in with a Tire, who's he going to go for? That's the question. Just go for all of them. They're all bundled up, but it's now got 15 HP. He's going to try and find an incision. He finds just that, but Logix, the sharp shooter, manages to take it out of the air before it did any meaningful damage. However, it did stop a lot of advancement here from the Defiant. As they use this Rally Hex, this armor's going to start fading rather soon. Nevix is going to use that Flux high in the sky and manage to kill off Kevster's Bob, but that's really about it. And a Rally actually coming through from Mira here as well is going to stop the Toronto Defiant playing super aggressive.
Logic's still looking for something here, still peeking around. Pokegon's out of the halt.
Look at these ults, X. It's just ult, and then ult, and then ult, and then ult to just deny Defiant space. It's going to be so tough for them to really get anything done. They're against a Bob now, however. And Agility's actually in the back line killing Mira. That's the perfect place you want to be. Shaz, on the other hand, did manage to take out Numlock, so still a good point for the Gladiators.
Bird Ring just on the flank takes out Agility's.
2 ticks, 13 seconds remains, and Body's on the point for the Gladiators right now. You kill Nevix, and this is a win, I feel. I mean, Nevix is going to be able to shield off the rest of his team from damage. You can see the target prioritization for the Gladiators is almost perfect. The Flux is going to come out. Space looking for something more than the Wrecking Ball, but the Wrecking Ball will suffice in this situation as Roki tried to get back in. Got taken out by OG, and Gladiators halting the offense from the Toronto Defiant. The map will end the next round. 1 point and 2 ticks on the board. That is the win condition for the Gladiators. And Defiant it was just so hard for them to do anything, Hex. The Gladiators always had an answer to everything that was thrown at them. They were just staggering their ults out. So Defiant found it so difficult to actually find an opening to use a ult of their own and actually just get onto the point itself.
Well, the Defiant by nature and style have come across to me as somewhat of a passive team anyway, that if they don't feel they have the advantage, then they just kind of wait around and wait for it, and the Gladiators use that against them, because there were times where like an ult would come out from the Gladiators and Defiant would be like, okay, let's just wait this one out, and now go in, and then another ult would come out from the Gladiators, and Toronto's like, okay, let's just wait this one out, and they just never stopped coming, kept rolling. Also, Shaz had a couple of really clutch first picks on the defense as the Baptiste. I believe he got all 3 of his kills were on the defense on very opening kills, so really nice play from the BAP there to really shut down the Toronto Defiant. Because if anything goes wrong for you on your offense on Assault, it's just go again. You kind of can't try to force a 5v6 or especially a 4v6. And the Gladiators were just they were just zoning ults all the time. Like, they can't do anything because Tire's coming, and then they can't do anything because Supercharger's down. I don't want to push into this window. And the Gladiators just milked the clock all the way down.
Well, now, very weird win condition in the Gladiators side. So I wonder if Kevs and the Birdring are going to do the dance again with the Widowmaker. Oh no, Kevs are actually TPing forward. Try to find a pick, TPing back. Nice little use of the teleporter, I must say. And then Kevster and Birdring jumping over to the Genji and the Ashe. So, yeah, same old Comps. Mirrors, in fact, for both sides. Although there's only one mirror and it's in the map, and that is on the Gladiators. Haha. Pretty funny, huh? My brain is turning off slowly. My brain is turning to mush.
Both of these teams are happy to not run a marathon assault, which is, it's definitely not going to be a marathon, because both of these teams played the longest assaults that we had last week.
Dude, did you just see that rotation? The Toronto Defiant were like, quickly get him! This is like one person in that small room. Oh, what? Okay, Birdring with a fadeaway shurikens from Agility ends up going down. Yeah, I didn't see that at all. I think it was
That's how much faith he has in his shurikens. He's like, I don't even have to look. I got that.
Cool guys don't look at shurikens. Agility's now dashing all the way through. There was a nice little wraparound from the Gladiators, to be fair here, but they will end up going down anyway. Circling a bit Defiant.
This one feels inevitable.
Yeah, it's just dying. Again. That was really nice. I mean, Gladiators did end up trying to bait Defiant into the Mega Pack route and then wrap around under the bridge to try and get positioning, but they weren't quite quick enough, and Defiant managed to react quick enough and then kill off Birdring. So.
Well, Los Angeles has to go in and hopefully bait out some ultimates. They have to know they're just at least a little bit behind, given how that last team fight went. Maybe you can bait out a Blade and come in with your Blade of your own, but the windows will probably go down here.
Dynamite. Logic deserves himself a Bob now. A lot of ults available for Defiant. Not so many coming off the Gladiators. 30% away from both Bob and the Blade, and OG ends up going down to a window and a few headshots.
Yeah, the Gladiators are going to be using their own amp matrix too, so it's a fair trade.
I mean, now they just get to wait, I guess. I mean, you're going to wait for Blade and Flux, or maybe initiate with Flux and hope Kevster gets the Blade, but there's so much to deal with. The rallies are going to be the turning points. Whichever Brig uses rally first, I think we'll end up losing the trade. Unless they want to really go aggressive, you have to find kills instantly. If the other Brig rallies later, then you're in a bad position. Same with their Zenyatta Transcendence so long ago.
Where are the Gladiators trying to go? They're not rotating room. OG is all alone.
There's the Flux. Did it get anybody? I don't think it got anybody, you know. There's the Bob on the platform. Nevix now backing onto the point. So the Bob has actually created more space than the Flux there in that instance. There's space is now on the high ground. There's the rally. Later one from Mirror here, although it's not as too late for it to be effective, I don't think. And Nevix is getting bullied. There's the Flux. That found something. That's 3 people high in the sky, but the Immortality field and a nice bit of cover will help them for the time being. Kevster gets robbed. 20 HP. Dashes back to his team. Luckily, somehow still alive. And now 50 seconds does remain, and Birdring is dead. Toronto Defiant with a ridiculous defense on this first point. And now Mirror falling too. This is a very late staggering of kills. OG just kind of gives up his own life, and yeah, the rest of the Gladiators feeding into the Defiant at this point. They got one more fight remaining, Hex, and Defiant have got a lot of ults on board. They've got Blade, they've got Supercharger, and they've got Window too.
Defiant have had Blade this entire match, it seems like they just haven't had the chance to lose it. And they also have the Blongo. Yeah, Mirror Zen. Might as well go for it. I wonder where Birdring died there, because I'd noticed that Birdring, when his team is struggling, goes for super try-hardy flanks. Just like he feels he has to carry this team, and sometimes it works, and most of the time it doesn't.
This actually looks so unwinnable now for the Gladiators. They used their Pongo early just to get space. Now Agility's jump to the back line, but Shaz, in fact, ends up picking him off. Kevster had in space, however, had to jump in to try and save something. Mirror with the window is just clicking on heads with a Zen. Maybe I spoke a little bit too soon. Nevix is alone on the point. This window is actually perfect from Shaz. So much damage actually got amplified through it and cracked all of the shields from the Toronto Defiant. OG now on the point, just making sure he can contest for as long as possible, but he's now going to get taken out by Agilities. Mirror still popping off on the Zen. No matter how much HP he has, he is still fragging. Kevster picks up the rest as well, and the Toronto Defiant and what looked like an unlosable fight because they had Supercharger advantage, end up foregoing this first point, and now have to battle against 3 minutes from the Gladiators.
Well, 3 minutes. Oh, that one hurts though. You'd love to ride the momentum to first point to second point, and Mirror with a single click probably could have gotten himself to the Transcendence. He got a Transcendence bladed there because they have an enormous blade advantage. They have to know that. Now you have to slow it all down, back to the drawing board. So what has Mir played this year? He's played like several DPS roles, played Zarya, played Brigitte, and played Zenyatta. All right.
Yeah. I mean, don't mind the Zen at all, to be fair. Oh, don't send
enable,
okay, good.
enables Kevster, hurts the tanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Versus head, rather big head hit box, so pretty easy to do damage to it. Oh, better.
I need healing.
Yeah, don't send that down. There's the flux. Oh, can they take out? No, they cannot. I was going to say, if they take a Roki there before he reaches the ground, that would be disaster. There's a Dragon Blade and the Transcendence. Kevster's more than safe. He actually wall climbs. Doesn't quite get away from the flux, but he's already done the damage. Cruz is dead. Remember, they don't need all of the way at the cap as well. 2 minutes remains. However, Agility's fighting back. A nice reflect kill onto Mira. Finds 3 of his own. And they will hold on to the point for now, unless Murdering's got something to say about it. Although spawn advantage definitely in the favor of the Defiant, so I don't think they're going to be able to fight this unless they find a ridiculous pick here on Nevix. They do not do that, and they're going to reset.
Brigitte is so far away. Agility's just won it by himself, and again, just has the blade, just holding onto the blade right now. A defensive Tracer, okay. I didn't hate it. I don't hate defensive Tracer here, but Ashe a little bit better. Logic's going to switch back over to that. Gladiators are nearing Supercharger, should buy him some room. Supercharger Bob could be a nice thing on the point.
It does a surprising amount of damage, Supercharge Bob. Murdering is waiting here with the ult of his own. Taking out Supercharger is key right now. Yeah, it instantly died. That shield unfortunately wasn't the best, but now Agility's going with the play. He's got a Mentality Field in his back as well. One slice will do so much damage and kill Immo Field as well. There's 3 kills for Agilities. Make that a 4th as he resets through OG. 5 kills for Agilities. Anubis just seems to be his map man. I don't know. I remember all the way back when he played the Doomfist on this on the defense as well. And he rocked the enemy team with that one too. And now only 30 seconds remains. Gladiators' backs are up against the walls, but they were on the first point as well. Is it going to be the same story yet again?
He's got 16 final blows. Agility is nearly twice as much as the next closest person. Kevster at 9 is the next closest person. Agilities is taking over this map.
Now what do they have? They got Bob, they got Window 2 to create a lot of space. Bob's going to come in as well. It does get booped, and that flux from Nevix is going to be good. They're still contesting the point, mind you, so they're definitely going to be able to trigger OT in this situation, and Nevix is caught off a little bit unawares. Down to sub 200 HP, he's going to have to be a little bit more careful now. However, they can rely on that window. Kevster with the blade's going to have to come in clutch. He managed to kill Cruz. Can he find anything else? He's just getting pushed away, and Nevix and Agilities all that time were able to kill people onto the point. There's still 2 people alive, and Nevix ends up going down. Kevster comes in clutch, however. He gets taken out by Logix. No healers on the point for the Gladiators. They're just fighting now with 6 HP. Birdring stays alive. Cruz eventually kills them off with a boop of his own, and Agilities comes back with a blade. He kills off space, and now the trickling of the Gladiators onto the point to try and get some space and time to contest for OT. Logix comes back on the Tracer, but they're going to step off, and the Toronto find the win. Gladiators now with true backs up against the walls. Toronto Defiant match point of the series in this elimination match.
Toronto Defiant now 3-7 on Anubis, but the wins are coming when they absolutely needed them. Agilities came up huge time after time on that defense. 5 Dragon Blade kills, which means the most of his damage. The remaining 14 other kills were just straight up Genji mechanics. Really nice play for Toronto to break that streak and put themselves onto match point against the Los Angeles Gladiators.
Feeling pretty good. That looked like it was going to be exactly the same thing that happened on point A, which was in OT. Mira starts clicking some heads on the Zen, or Kevster this time around, dashing through people as the Genji, and they could have clutched it. Unfortunately, not quite clutch enough. Is Gladiators' chance to choose a map once again as we head into map number 4. Toronto on map point. Match point even. We'll see in a bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network, T-Mobile.
Here it is. Gladiators need to come back right here, right now. It's their map pick once again. We are going to watch Point Gibraltar. And surprise, Hex, and surprise everybody else. We're having a few subs and a few swap arounds as well. We got Goose coming in, Big Goose on the supports, and we got Mira. He's staying in the game, and Space is taking a back seat. Mira's coming in for tank. So before Rollock, not before Rollock, since Rollock, Mira has been the first player to play every single role in a series, which is pretty spectacular, mind you. Quite a feat to achieve. Both support, tank, and DPS he is currently filled in with. So, Gladiators, yeah, they got a lot of flexibility on their team, and it's good to see them flex it.
Yeah, most versatile player. As we go to Gibraltar, you'd have to assume this is going to be for some Zarya play to enable the Zarya Winston dive that we have seen ever so popular. Roki is also going to be coming out for the Toronto Defiant. Karev will be replacing him, so perhaps an Ana or a Zenyatta, you would imagine, as Roki has been their favorite to play on the Baptiste pick. But yeah, we've seen that Ana can be very good on Watchpoint Gibraltar, especially with dive. Zen can work out as well, tossing the orbs in there, so Karev gets to be the playmaking flex support.
Yeah, the Zenyatta will be pretty good to see on this map specifically, just because you can dive on target and then insta-kill it, although Zen a little bit more vulnerable, especially when you don't have him on the high ground, where he's a little bit more protected by his off-tank and by his other support as well. Gibraltar, interesting map though. We've seen a lot of, it feels like a lot of first point holds recently.
Yes,
on Gibraltar.
Yes, we have.
It's been a bit of a wild ride in the Overwatch League on this map recently.
Well, which is tough because, like, shuttle phase, like, the second point of Gibraltar is one of my favorite points in all of Overwatch. It can be very frustrating for the offense, but, like, the kind of strategies, and, I mean, it's probably the point in the game that is most dependent on high ground control, and once a team gets that, how do you wrestle it back, and how do you play it on the defense? Like, it's one of my favorite points in all of Overwatch as a whole, but mostly it's been a lot of first point holds. But we cast Dallas 2 weeks in a row, so maybe we're just having that kind of bias, because Dallas has not been able to get past first point Gibraltar in quite a while.
That is true. You can kind of see why Gladiators want to play this map. They're 2-0 currently this season on Gibraltar. So they want to keep that streak alive and make it an undefeated 3-0 and then send us to map number 5 being Control as well. So could potentially see two very quick 3 Overwatches earlier on today and then 2 map 5s back to back. So that would be fairly interesting.
Yeah, I think both of these teams have a really good shot at doing some upsets if they go onto the tournament, because just like the raw talent that they have in some of these positions, like the Genjis that both these teams have, the hit scans that both these teams have, the solid tank lines, like I think of all the teams remaining in the tournament, that the winner of this has some of the greatest upset potential going forward.
Okay, Ana's on both sides. We are seeing Logix, Mr. Logix on the Widowmaker. One of my favorite people watching Widow, that is for sure. Holding the high ground, holding blue box too. He's so safe up here. It's actually kind of crazy. You can get agilities to kind of peel for him as well, because if OG does end up diving him, agilities can just dish out so much damage. Remember, this is the patch pre the Genji nerf. It's not the Genji nerf that's currently on live, where the right clicks are slower and it does. Oh my god! Well, deflect hasn't changed, never has. So, well, apart from the addition of cans, but regardless, that looked pretty clean.
The shotgun shurikens right into the Winston's dome are what you were just referring to, and I'm going to try to get that going early on. 2 have already fallen for Toronto Defiance.
Yeah, you lose. This is a lost point, I believe, now. That's 2 this series already, Hex, as well. 1 on King's Row, and then 1 on Watchpoint Gibraltar. Nice little chase down of Kevster, though.
Yeah, Logic's doing its best to at least delay, and it buys them enough time that Toronto can come back and fight this again. Easily. And now without Kevster, Los Angeles has to be a little careful of trying to engage. Kevster can get back in, they're going to stall.
Sleeping a little bit wide. Who are they going to nano here? Maybe they just nano the Genji to make sure he can stay alive. No, they nano Domlocked in the end. Oh, the 180 sleep! Oh, he gets woken up! Who did that? Logix! I think Logix woke up the, no, not Logix, sorry, Birdring maybe woke up the Winston, but it doesn't matter in the end, as OG cleaned up the rest of the fight.
Late rally from Big Goose is one that he might want to have back, as Big Goose, yeah, absolutely back into the support role. Haven't seen him in a bit. But that's a rally that came a little bit late. I don't know, rally's fine because it gives you the momentum that you need with the armor kind of slowly dissipating, that they can try to use it to their advantage and push a little bit forward. Now, EMP is ready.
That EMP was huge. That fire grenade as well hit 3 people, Numlock, Nevix, and Cruz. That was unlucky. Point. However, getting that EMP out the way early is normally a good thing. However, the shuttle phase, like we were saying just a second ago, it's pretty annoying for the attackers. However, if you got a position like this, it's pretty good for you.
It's a lot better once you get the cart under this bridge and a little bit forward. Generally, the defense is not going to be able to hold high ground as far forward as they would like to then. So it's kind of a cut-up stage of the game where it's like it is 2 halves, and Los Angeles have it in the latter half right now.
Nano playing into the back. No sleep, but a stun will connect. However, a lot of space being created by Kevster, to be fair. Didn't really find all too much damage done. Mirror and Agilities end up trading, but still on board with Kevster as he tries to find the Tracer. It's very close to actually the payload being completed here, so the Toronto Defiant are forced to actually play around that. And in fact, Kevster now backing off the rest of his team, unwilling to fight this one. Toronto Defiant have a good lot of ults as well coming into this next fight. They got the blade, and they have the grab.
They slept Numlock early in that primal too, and Kevster just a little shirk and happy woke him up immediately. Chaz has to be a little bummed right now.
Yeah, I mean, hey, a projectile.
It happens.
As I say when I'm Zenyatta and I wake someone who slept. Oh no. Oh no! Big Goose rallied and got purple, and then he instantly fell as he got grabbed. That is a very, very sad Brigitte. Well, I mean, you're not going to be able to win now. Nevix, even just being half charge, and another sleep as well onto a Winston. Someone has to touch the payload though, mind you. OG is fine now. Pulse bomb. Oh, nice little kill. And that'll be a defense. Still being held on to here by Defiant. Not bad at all. However, Gladiators, they've got EMP. Maybe even the Nano Winston being thrown in there as well.
EMP, yeah, Nano Winston makes a lot of sense. I don't hate Nano Zarya here either, or even Nano Big Goose, just to get them closer to ultimates, but the EMP will shut down a whole lot, so you can pretty much Nano whoever you want.
Yeah,
Nanoing Mirror gets you to grab, though. Like, 100% you get to grab off that.
Problem with Mirror, though, he can't really hit anything, except he just runs away. So I would say, yeah,
true.
You could Nano Big Goose. Same problem with Big Goose, to be honest with you. Maybe Kevster would be a good opportunity here, just so he can get Blade and then follow up.
Just add 90, yeah.
Yeah, it would make a lot of sense, too. Regardless,
EMP with should win this one.
EMP with Nano, it's good. There's the EMP. Numlock's already been Nanoed, though, so he might be able to stand up to the team. There's the Nano Blade from Kevster as well. Straight into the back line. A deflect to stop the Blade doing damage, but it doesn't matter. OG's going to be able to follow this one up. And Kevster, oh, a little bit of dance there with Agilities. He does win out the duel, of course. That'll be Gladiators capping the points, and Logic's being a little bit sneaky. Okay. I think he's going to want to attempt a stall here, waiting for Gladiators to push all the way up and so he can harass the supports, although...
He also might have just got bad spawns, and instead of going into the drink, just holding back here. Maybe try to get a support, but this is such a brutal support line to try to do anything.
They know where he is. They know where he is. So they have to like go in now, otherwise Logix is going to have a hard time. They actually grab early. They know the damage isn't really there from Logix. They only have to really deal with agility, so really, really like the early grab. Nevix falling. OG, yes, still paying attention to Logix in the back line. Cruz ends up killing Verdering of all people. And even a pulse bomb thrown out, doesn't quite find anything, but he's still contesting the payload. Not for long though, as Big Goose has activated that rally, so everybody's a little bit more hardy now moving forwards. OG still with the primal rage, people are going to have to watch out. Logix eventually pays for his sins, ends up going down, and now OG juggling Nevix. However, ends up getting slept in the end. Late rally for Cruz. He actually gets hacked, and none of that armor is now being applied. Kriv still has that nano boost, but it looks like a complete roll here from the Gladiators. Nano blades available from them as well. And a Graviton Surge has already come through, and now Kevster jumps the back line. Little fear of anything, really. Kriv, Nevix falls. 1-2 dashes, ends up killing Cruz and Nevix off. And this is going to be it. They grab Numlock to the point, and the point will get capped. 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining for the Gladiators. That Graviton Surge from Nevix was actually their doom. They focused so much on killing those people in there that the blade from Kriv Oh, sorry, the blade from Karib? The blade, sorry, from Kevster, jumping to the back line, killing off Karib and Nevix. They didn't have anything to use with it. They couldn't grab it. They couldn't sleep it because Karib was dead. That was a perfect kind of chess, almost, you know, flowchart Overwatch play of around the grab and the nanoblade.
Yeah, I really like that the Gladiators seem to realize that their bread is really buttered around this Genji. So rather than have Birdring try to take these hit-scan duels, they're just putting them on Sombra for the absolute sure insta-win of EMP Nanoblade. Like, there's almost no way you should lose a decent EMP into Nanoblade unless something goes horribly, horribly wrong. On top of that, 18 enemies hacked for Birdring, getting the individual plays going, and 9 EMPs, and he's getting EMP every 90 seconds, which is right on track with exactly how Shaz... Okay, so it's actually really funny. Shaz is getting Nano every minute and 32. Blade is coming up every minute and 33. EMP is ready every minute and 38. So they are in sync. They are ready for that triple combo pretty much every 90 seconds, which is every team fight, every other team fight. And they know that Kevster is their carry on this Genji, and Birdring is just enabling all of this.
Big time bank as well, considering it being Watchpoint Gibraltar after all too. Yeah, 30, not too shabby. No deflect kills here. Logix is actually on the Sombra now instead of the Widowmaker. So waiting for people to jump in wouldn't be such a bad option. I want to know if they're going to take high ground or just kind of send it through and then take high ground. Looks like Agilities want to control it with numlocks, although, yeah, jumping straight into Birdring's not going to be a good thing. The SMG from Sombra does a fair bit of damage, plus 60 rounds, 60 rounds in the mag too, is quite a lot. And just piling that into Winston's face when he does dive in, that's not only a lot of ult charge, but the Winston isn't going to really be able to survive through any of that because the armor packs don't provide armor anymore, and Winston, not that much armor on the face of it either, so he's going to fall pretty fast if he's not careful. Disengaging quickly like he just did there.
It's also one of the heroes that I think just benefits from people underestimating the damage output. Because Sombra just always felt like she was very weak, but... Go again. Go again.
Yep, you go again.
You can't leave both tanks and try to do anything.
Alrighty. Kevster will blade. Shaz with Nano soon. Toronto Defiant. I think it's going to be Nanoblade versus Nanoblade at this point. Birdring has almost got to that EMP, however. As you can see how much damage he's doing compared to Logix in this situation. 40% charge above him. There you go. There's the blade that they were after. Shaz is 10% away from his. They're going to pop it first. Agility's going to go in. Shaz is going to be able to escape that. Well, with the help of OG at least, just pushing Agility's away. They didn't actually decide to nano. They nano dunlocked a 2-forked attack, 2-pronged attack. A nanoblade this time around from the Gladiators. Nevix already falls. A nice little kill onto Logix as well. Now the Gladiators once again holding on to this payload as Toronto Defiant's time bank dwindling.
It's just about the value that you're able to generate through your ultimates, and right there, you see they get 2 kills from their Nanoblade, whereas Toronto Defiant got absolutely nothing. OG did a really good job of using the Primal to just completely negate that Nanoblade. Primal is still up for numlocked, and now we have the duel of the EMPs. He who queues first, well, generally wins those fights.
Oh no, they're waiting for him to go on the coastline. Straight up, there's nowhere to run there. However, a counter EMP is going to be pretty good. Birdring and OG are hacked currently. Can they finish that up with kills? No, they cannot. The Gladiators with the EMP first, and Logix was just hiding out that entire time. Counter EMP worked out for the Defiant this time around, and now they control the payload.
The question is, can Los Angeles come in with any sort of meaningful stall? They should be able to get back, throw this Winston on there, buy time for your Zarya to get this grab in. You have to take this fight here. Nice stall from Birdring.
Don't have to yet. He's going to zip away. Going to use that translocator to get out of dodge. There's Graviton Surge onto the payload. Can they follow with any damage? No, they cannot. OG actually ended up just melting. Ideally, you would want a nade on top of that as well, but I don't think they had
nade to come in.
I don't think they had the angle, to be honest. It was a bit of an odd one, to be fair. And now, well, Toronto Defiant pushing through this second point. They're going to provide, well, they're going to provide themselves a lot of space because they're actually dying fairly late. It's going to mean that they're going to be able to play up and on the high ground too.
Now trying to get 2x on the card just to get it past that really important stage right under the bridge, while the other heroes with good mobility will take high ground. Still holding onto this blade is Toronto Defiant. Nano Blade is ready for them. There is no Nano Blade option as Kevster has switched over to the Tracer.
Nice Little grenade there on to the Grav. That will be Shaz going down. Same with Mirror. So again, this fight isn't really happening currently. It's Toronto Defiant taking the fight to the Gladiators, using everything a little bit earlier to get all the space that they require. OG's in the back line using the Primal Rage. Managed to kill Crib, in fact. Taking him out is going to be pretty big. Because Shaz now can come back with the Nano too if they really need it. They don't have Genji anymore, so they can just basically only put it on OG. And now they can claim all the space that they lost a second ago.
This is always great for the defense to be able to win this fight on shuttle phase. OG's got to be careful though. Oh, he's got buddies. It's all good.
Dealing with a lot
Just
of
waiting
charge.
for the hack to wear off. Let me go to the shuttle, please. Alright, so now they're able to hold this high ground, and Toronto is going to have a difficult time because they do have like the triple combo, right? Perfect. They've got Nanoblade, they've got EMP. It's just a matter of the Gladiators are going to be kind of split up and trying to get everyone in each of
A huge Nanoblade EMP. Even Big Goose popped that rally fairly early as well. He just unfortunately got taken down and he was alone. Even got Mega Pack, but Nanoblade does too much damage. Counter EMP from the Gladiators, however, but already the Defiant has kind of won that fight with an EMP and Nanoblade of their own. So that EMP went way wide from like what they were expecting. The Cubs can come back maybe in touch, but it looks like the rest of the Gladiators just happy resetting themselves and just getting back so they can group as 6 once more.
I'm so impressed that he was able to get 5 with that EMP. The position that the Gladiators were in on defense, it's tough to get the EMP to get a lot of value, and then the follow-up, because you need everybody to be on these mobile heroes executed absolutely perfectly. And late in that fight, Gladiators put in Nano and EMP. It's a nice kill, though. Don't have to worry about logic, so Gladiators might get... Yeah, I don't know. It was a 1v1 Sombra, I think, so those can be weird.
Just hold left click until someone dies. Your hacks just get interrupted. Oops, daisy. There's a lot of ult charge, at least for Nevix there. Not ult charge, sorry. Just charge in general. Oh, Birdring is not having a good time. Who did they end up hacking? I think it was Cruz. Yeah, Birdring couldn't quite finish him off. Kind of a hard target anyway, Brig. She has armor. Nanoblade available for rather soon. I think Defiant are just going to wait at 6 here. I don't think they're going to want to use anything early, and in fact, just wanting to fight like this is even better. They managed to kill off Mira. What he has Graviton Surge online too. Nevix, all he needs to do is survive against OG's Primal Rage. He does just that. He's in the bubble though. Oh, that's not good. He needs to just get out of there and actually LOS his healers. That was not good whatsoever. However, they still have EMP, they still have Blade, they're going to hold him at the doors, and Agility's can basically just sit there. He gets sucked into the grab, and that Bio Grenade was good, but Agility's has got a little bit something extra. That's 3 kills for the Genji now as they move on to this 3rd point. 1 minute and 20 seconds does remain, and there's still bodies on the point for Gladiators too. OG comes back on the hog to just try and survive and stall. He's used his breather, he's used his hook, but the Moira is keeping him alive and well for a long time, mind you. And he is now just going to take up the payload. There is actually nothing you can do at this point. There's too much sustain. Hog.
Well, you had a Baptiste sitting in spawn and a Moira right behind him. Like, you're just never killing that Roadhog. You know, like, he's got to get, like, antied for him to die in that situation.
Well, Toronto need to actually find the capture here to avoid this 5th map hex.
And they don't have much to work with at all. As we near 40 seconds, maybe they get a blade up. That will be it. Maybe Cruz gets a rally. Meanwhile, Los Angeles can just take this to them with an EMP whenever they feel like it.
Yeah, this looming EMP is rather devastating. If I were Birdring right now, yeah, you just go. You absolutely go. It's 25 seconds. Everybody gets hit. You're all dead. No point fighting it. 20 seconds now remains. Defiant are going to be able to touch, but I do believe it's just going to be up to Logics to do just that.
Yeah, Counter's going to lurk.
Spawn doors. This is disgusting.
Yeah, I would have just pulse bombed spawn doors, but that's me.
Yeah, something coming through the doors. I mean, it would definitely fall a couple of seconds, that's for sure. Okay, it's actually up to Numlock. There's the pulse, goes wide. Agility's dead. 1 man advantage now for the Gladiators. Make that 2 as Cruz also falls. They still need to touch, but it's looking unlikely. A hack after hack after hack. The EMP comes through, but it's too little too late for Logics. He manages to kill off OG. The grab is there. Numlock can't do anything. OT ticks down. Gladiators on their map pick again managed to find the win this time around. We're going all the way to map 5 Hex. Map 5s back to back in these eliminations games.
Like the Somber play was absolutely great there from the Los Angeles Gladiators. Birdring shows that he is an ultra versatile player. The EMP is to really pull it off. It could not be closer between these two teams. I mean, as far as Toronto got, it was pretty one-sided as far as kills went, but that's because Toronto was able to blaze through large portions of the map. And after an early morning or early afternoon of 3 Overwatch, we're going to go to our second map 5 between two very close teams, number 9, number 8 in the rankings. Like I said before, I think both of these teams have upset potential. I'd be surprised if either of them get picked first in our selection show.
Well, we'll have to wait and find out for that. That's going to be after this series. And Hex, we're going to jump to a quick break, our final break before the end of the series. We'll see you in a bit.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back. Map number 5. We go again. Toronto Defiant against the Gladiators. And this time around, no more Mirror. He's not playing his 4th role. Imagine if there was a 4th role. I'm sure he could play that one as well. But he's not playing
Sim counts.
in this one.
Sim
is a 4th.
Yeah. I mean, she's been moved from several different categories already. So, it's, you know, Sim is the 4th creature of the Overwatch League. And going to Control, you know, you might end up actually seeing Sim. But Mir has played everything. He's not going to play it now. But we are headed to Nepal, which will be our final decider map as we go to map 5s around here, Jack.
Kareev out as well, and Roki's coming back in. So substitutions all around for both teams. We've got Kevster staying in on DPS as well with Birdering. So, yeah, this one, I can imagine we're seeing a little bit of funny business on the village. However, I do want to see Sanctum and how that one plays out. I love the adaptation from Birdering, or not adaptation, just the flexibility of Birdering. I love the Sombra from the Gladiators. I think it's been pretty okay. Logic's maybe a little bit better in that instance, but I think it's just about the following up, which was a little bit of an issue for the Gladiators there. Birdering's EMPs were pretty good, but OG and wasn't really well to outpace Numlock and kind of following up on the EMPs. Let's have a look at how we got here, though. Well, same story as before. There's one win on for one team on the control map, and then 2 back-to-back, and then the other one finishes it out to get us to our map number 5. So, yeah, Nepal is going to round about this series again.
I mean, I'll tell you why I actually like the Sombra for Birdring, as like if it's a coaching decision or if it's someone else's decision, is because Birdring does have a tendency to go rogue and try to play alone, and you can't do that as Sombra. Sombra forces coordination. It forces him to play with the team, but there's times when, like, especially if the Gladiators have like lost 2 team fights in a row, that Birdring is just doing his own thing because he thinks he's that good to carry a squad, which he's been proven that he can do that sometimes, but it does keep Birdring from going rogue and playing on flanks, and it's just like, you kind of have to play with the team if you want to get anything done as Sombra, so it keeps him contained, it keeps him part of the squad. I don't think we're going to see a ton of Sombra here. It's going to be a lot of just hit scan and Genji's very likely. Both teams are queued up on the Symmetra, but this is not the stage for Symmetra, really. It's just for a teleporter, and it seems like they're going to mirror each other in every other aspect of the compositions. Double shields.
Yeah, no funny business here. Well, isn't it I guess it is fairly effective. We have seen Sim on this point before.
It's not as good
as
some of the other maps.
Yeah, it's not as good as the Village. So yeah, TP's out. Switching over to Kevster on the Tracer. Okay. So it's Kevster, Tracer versus Agilities on the Genji. Look at the dynamite damage and look at the ult charge, by the way. Yeah, it's a little bit absurd. Birdring. Oh my god, that was
I don't know if he was aiming for that, but benefit of the doubt.
I don't care. He got the shot and he got the kill. That's what counts. However, Kevster doesn't end up going down as well. However, look at the positioning here from the Gladiators comparatively to the Toronto Defiant. Look at their health bars also. Agilities is also out of the fight too, so that's a lot less damage now. Another dynamite doesn't quite land anything, and in fact, Birdring even finding that first blood. This team doesn't end up cleaning up. It's actually Nevix and Agilities who do most of the damage there for the Toronto Defiant, and they managed to find the cap as well.
Yeah, that really felt like it was going to be the Los Angeles Gladiators early on. Like an extremely patient dynamite from Birdring got him that huge advantage early on. If you look at just the ult charges, that's because Logix threw his dynamite in from downtown. Birdring waited for the halt and ended up lighting 5 people on fire. However, that ends up hurting them because it means both supports for Toronto Defiant are able to farm up their ultimates much faster, and at the very end of that fight, cruise through in the rally, which was the tipping point. 30% for Toronto going forward.
Agility's just so close to this blade, though. Look at that. 3% away. I wonder if you use Bob here just to stop the blade from really doing much. Of course. Oh, there's the blade, there's the Bob. As soon as I said it, it happened. Agility's going to get rocked. Oh, and he gets pushed out of the Immortality field as well. And he ends up getting taken down. Birdring all the way in the background. Managed to take him and with him. And that will be Toronto as quick as that, managing to flip the point over.
Yeah, big commitment. They use both support ultimates. The Flux and the Bob come in, so they're going to be behind on those ultimates, but it is the support ultimates that have won fights for both of these squads during this time. We'll see if an early Pulse Bomb can come in and wreck some plans. There's not a ton of great targets for it, really. I mean, ideally, you get behind Cruz and hit him with the Pulse Bomb, but it's still not fun to try to 1v1 a Brega's Tracer, even with all the changes that have happened over the years. Looking for it.
Well, they're going to cease the resistance. What a beautiful Pulse Bomb. It did end up only getting the Supercharger. However, that's good enough, ideally, because your Supercharger is alive, so you have the damage advantage. Nice little bit of positioning there from Kevster. Knew the target too. The Hulk came in, and Immortality Field was burnt as well by Roki to just try and keep that fight going.
Yeah, the Hulks have definitely been on point.
Surpassing the percent. Here we go. Let's have a look at the replay. Birdring's POV. I don't mind. Oh, wait, Agilities was like, I didn't even aim for Agilities, he looked like that. I thought he was aiming for Cruz, and then Agility's body was just like, zip.
It's better to be lucky than good, and then in Birdring's case, it's great to be both.
Well, there is the Flux, and actually, Big Goose ends up going down to Roki. He didn't even use window. Roki was just normally firing at him. Okay. God, it's so clean sweep. There's not really any tussling in the middle, you know. Not really fighting in the center of the ring. It's all like you get knocked out, you go again. You get knocked out, you go again. It's kind of ridiculous how quick these fights are over.
Yeah, so it's the Overwatch version of a Chumbawamba song. Gladiators are going to have at least the Bobs open it up.
No. Cheeky, though.
All right, so 77%. One fight away for the Gladiators. Window can open. Bob can help out. I mean, I don't like putting Bob behind the window because I'd rather have him knock up on the point. That's exactly what they do.
That's exactly what they do. They're just trying to be sneaky-beaky like, oh, what a stick. Immortality Field, though, was there to stop all that damage. Numlock does end up going down. Now Space, all he needs to do is just try and create a little bit of space on the side. There's the Blade. Agility is going to get one kill, or at least help Nevik secure space, but the only person who was really looking at him was Birdring, just following him, tracking him through the air. With no armor and no nano boost, that Blade is so hard to get off. And I think in these situations, if your Tracer is better, I think Tracer's actually the better pick. Because the Genji just gets focused down so hard with all the stuns and the compact point. 90% now for the Gladiators.
It's a solid point for Tracer too, because there's packs everywhere. You don't have to rely on your team. And also these pulse bombs are not showing up with the kill feed, but they are doing a ton. They are forcing out early immortality fields. They're damaging everybody as well.
Wait, did Rocky no, he didn't use immortality. It looked like he did, but he was actually just firing at the floor. Nevix is so low, and look at OG. He's just going into melee, melee range of everybody. Bob's going to be online as well. Logix is dead. This is looking good for the Gladiators. They've even got Rally online too. This window has to do something, but I think it's too little too late. The Toronto Defiant are going to get pushed all the way off the point, and the Gladiators are going to claim the first stage. And they are one stage away now from eliminating the Defiant to moving on to the quarterfinals.
Birdring with 10 final blows there from the very first get-go. He was putting in so much damage. He did 36% of his team's damage. 36. Generally, you see the guys kind of hanging out and doing similar stuff, but wow, what a hard carry performance from him. Jeez, those numbers are absurd. He only died once as well, so Birdring really coming alive. And I think Birdring has actually been in, it's a strange spot this year, because year one, everyone thought Birdring is like, oh, this got your player. Things with London didn't go great. He had some injuries. And then, yeah, like last year, it was like, well, no one really even thought about Birdring. A resurgent year for him. Really reminding people that he can still aim. And then sometimes he plays the Junkrat.
Here we go. Junkrat Sim, either side, and the Lucios too. Oh, the Boopers are going to be pretty devastating if you can boop attack off the high ground to isolate him, but no, Birdring just left-clicking and throwing those mines. No one knows what's going on. Only Birdring is in control of this fight. Oh my goodness, Toronto Defiant sent back to spawn in a heartbeat. You can see Agility's 11% ult charge to Birdring 60 almost. Point cap for the Gladiators now. They're just going to set up.
Is Defiant going to make changes? No, they're going to run the same thing. I don't hate the concept of a Pharah against this, but it seems like they're just going to run the mirror.
Toronto Defiant, they've been stopped short.
Trying to decide how they want to go in.
But I feel that was oh no, that's not where you want to be. Oh, Concussion might have already landed in the front line, but no, Birdring uses it anyway to get some aerial time. Tony Hawk would be proud. Now they just get to continue to control this point, and all Birdring needs to do now is land one mine ideally, or do that! Okay! I was going to say land one mine, you know, maybe get a tire off, but no, he just throws in a couple of the ships. Concussion mine kills all over the place.
It's so frustrating to try to go in against this. Birdring just set up a sneaky trap. He knows that's where they went last time. This kind of locks the Defiant into two entrances. If they try to go that way, they're going to absolutely know. So now you just have to worry about less doors to cover. They are going that way. Did they spot it? Yeah, they spotted it.
There's the tire. Underneath. The window's going to come out as well. So actually the wall even is going to be so good to stop a lot of that damage landing on the tire. Hex, we are at 70% almost now for the Gladiators. Toronto Defiant have not yet really had a fight at all. The Gladiators have been so proactive in the way that they're playing, it's almost impossible for the Defiant to get anywhere near, like a pixel of space out on this high ground.
Yeah, now you're going to have Supercharger and Flux, the Defiant, and one last gasp going up to the top right. Wall with Tire is actually a really cool combination because the Tire can just avoid all the damage. You can pick your spots. Finally a kill.
Well, that's a good start. That's an even better one. Okay.
It's all right. Gladiators, you just go next. You leave, go again.
Yep. Yep. That's what you do. Just get out. What? Okay. Wait, hang on a second. Wait, what? What is going on?
Birdring and Big Goose just got a double assassination and then bailed.
The most deadly birds in the Overwatch League. They're now going to be able to just push him rather fast. Yeah, Toronto Defiant are forced to use something. Big Goose now finds Agilities? They're going to use it, the beat now to rush forward. They've really got to worry about the damage. It's only Logix. Logix has wall though, so now they can hide behind it. I mean, maybe this is a good situation for them to be in, especially if Logix can charge up off these shields. He does just that. Luckily enough, that wall came up just in time for Logix and the rest of the Defiant to stop that ridiculous push.
All right. This is such a hectic composition. Kevster and Logix, no walls, ready to go. Tires are ready for both teams. It might just be a ships passing in the night kind of thing. I wonder where the Gladiators want to try to get into. And is this an escape teleporter? No, it goes to the point. Yeah, it's a really cool teleporter, actually. One side is behind the shield, the other goes to the point. It allows these rotations to be much quicker.
Whoa, that was a very far back tire from Birdring. Oh, used the TP! Oh, it gets 4! Birdring gets 4 kills with the tire, and the Toronto Defiant have no idea what just happened. Gladiators put themselves on the point. They get a complete team kill. They're going to take the map and the series and make it to quarterfinals. What an unbelievable play from Birdring. That was ridiculous. He deserves player of the game. He deserves MVP of this match and the day, I think. That was the funniest tire kill I think I've seen in a long time. Good lord.
That is, that's one way to win a match right there. Oh, God, that's got to be so gut-wrenching to lose the match that way, too, though. A close set between these two squads. The Gladiators clutch it out in the end. I mean, there were talks early in Season 1 about Birdring as an MVP-type player, right? And I mentioned that he's had an up-and-down, tumultuous career, rumors about injuries, rumors about being difficult to play with, seems to have found his home in the Gladiators. They rotate a lot of the other damage dealers, but Birdring stays in there because of his versatility, because he can play all the hit scan. He can, I mean, his Ashe to open up that map was really, really good as well. I mean, so much burn damage. The Bobs were perfectly positioned. He played the Sombra at a really high level today. What can't Birdring do? I mean, my goodness, he just clutched it out for the Gladiators. And we think of this as like a Genji meta where like Kevster is going to rule the day. But when you have Genjis that are evenly matched, it's got to be somebody else to step up on a different role. Birdring just played lights out today. Absolutely lights out. And that tire's the perfect ending.
You can always rely on Birdring, it seems, at the end of it all. They're going to eliminate to the Toronto Defiant, and they move themselves on to the quarterfinals now. That was, yeah, one way to put it would be explosive. Ending to that series. 2 map 5s back-to-back as well. 2 very, very clutch moments at the end. And, yeah, Birdring, you can kind of guess, I think, already who's going to be your Xfinity player of the match, but it is going to be Birdring. I mean, right now, the Gladiators, yeah, they looked a bit shaky over the last couple of weeks. They did. I don't think there's any argument to say they didn't, to be honest. And now coming in, flexing Mirror as well. 2, 3 different roles within the same series too. They've shown that they have the flexibility in both their DPS. Birdring coming out with just a ridiculously good performance on the Junkrat 2. And now they've put themselves not only, I think, in a good spot, just in general, obviously, they're moving to quarterfinals, but just, I think everybody who's a Gladiators fan currently can breathe a sigh of relief. This is the Gladiators we were kind of hoping for, right?
Well, Birdring also achieved the flooded deadlift on Nepal. He got 24 of the team's 48 final blows.
Oh,
50% of the final blows came from Birdlift. Flooded Birdlift. I guess that's what they call them now.
That's a new one.
Yeah, it's no longer the flooded deadlift. It's the Birdring bring up. I'm sure someone more clever than me can think of something better than that. I'm still in awe of what we saw. It's really nice to see these veteran players find new teams, find new situations, and really rise to the level that we expect them to play at. And I was saying it all match, like both of these teams I feel are super dangerous because there's not a whole lot of weaknesses in their lineups. Los Angeles also has the versatility to play a ton of stuff, and they'll be moving on. Toronto, they have played all of the mid-tier teams, and they beat most of them, but they finally came up against a Gladiators team that played more disciplined today than I've seen them play in the last several weeks. I think their discipline falls apart sometimes, and their defensive strategy on King's Row seemed to work. There was a lot of things that came together. A lot of missing pieces from the Gladiators in some of their most recent losses were filled in today, and then you just get an amazing deadlift performance out of Birdring.
Yeah, I think just the comms and everything else seemed to work perfectly. I mean, I'm thinking back to Anubis, the second point, when they were defending. Like, their ability just to stagger out their ults to just burn as much time bank away from the Toronto Defiant just kind of really shows how disciplined they really were. Of course, we have got the selection show coming up in a moment, ladies and gentlemen, so you're definitely going to want to stick around for that one. I'm really curious who's actually going to pick Gladiators now, because they definitely have been on the come-up. So anybody that before maybe was like, yeah, we're definitely going to pick Gladiators if they win, I think maybe they're having second thoughts. Of course, we'll have to wait and find out. We're going to jump to a quick break, guys. Do not go anywhere. We got the selection show coming up next.